Alright. Timestamp. October 23rd, 2025. It is 6:25 p.m. I got a bunch of work done. Sat down, had a couple of ham and Swiss sandwiches, which is a popular thing for me. And after we went, I'm droopy, so I took like a 2-hour siesta. My girl is doing chores at George Station today, so she has left me to my own devices. Woke up enjoying some coffee, which would be some Cameron sea salt caramel. One of the things that I sometimes do in my spare time is I will watch survival horror video game, not necessarily playthroughs, but like reviews and whatnot, trying to see what else is out there. It's something I've been doing a bit of the past couple months. Because I do, yes, gentlemen, we're going out. Because at some point, when I'm actually able to really take a breath, I'm going to sit down and, right now my PC's on the bar, it's kind of awkward. Do I have a lighter with me? I do not. Let me grab one of my lighters. I'm gonna check the burn barrel while it's still light. But and I have been told from an unwinding standpoint, because of who I am, and this is gonna be weird for some people. Janus, I'm gonna bring you a can of food as soon as I get back in. You hungry? Check them out, man. What do you think? Yeah? Okay, I'll hook you up. He's looking good. He's gonna be a free kitty here real soon. This is not something that many people would find relaxing, but I am going to play some kind of survival horror game. Quit eating wasps. Stop it. You psychotic little dog. But a good survival horror game is actually one of the ways that I can unwind. I don't know. I probably do need professional help. Speaking of needing professional help, Tanner is eating dirt by the swing set again. Well done. Okay, that was not either dog. Hey Tanner, got great kibble in there. Got some of that moist and meaty, that imitation hamburger stuff. No? Gonna stick with the mud pie. Alright. To be clear, that's not actually what mud pies are. It's just what they call it. It's not dirt. I'm very confused. I think he is too. It's still warm from earlier. Still smoldering a little bit? Maybe? I was probably down for about 2.5 hours maybe. Now you're going to take a mighty poop. I encourage that. Well, you both are. What is it, synchronized? And a 6. And a 7. That's very strange. But, I looked back through my Steam account, and I know at least one person is going to be like, yeah. Baby bird. There we go. Good. Excellent. And from a Resident Evil standpoint, on Steam I have the remakes for... You really did have to go, Scrap. Okay, good. Better out than in. I have 0 through 3. And I have 7 and 8. I have Revelations and some of those guys too, but I think I'm gonna... I've heard such good things about 7, which is The Village, I believe. I've been avoiding the hell out of spoilers. But I think to get back into the flow... Okay, and from a favorite character from the... He is doing some serious pooping over there. There's no way you were holding it. I know Tiny took you out. Within the universe, a big Chris Redfield before steroids, frankly, and Rebecca fan. That honestly, it goes back to the original game. Nothing against Jill and Barry, but Chris and Rebecca is kind of my jam. And no, I don't ship them. She's young. That's part of her backstory, is that she's like a young science prodigy. Medical, primarily, but she's like the youngest Stars member. I think she's like 18, like, Doogie Howser kind of thing. But the character just always... I always got a hoot out of her. She's just, that young, spunky, somewhat naive, but talented kid. So I've always liked the character. And, Chris is... I mean, if you know, you know. I want to say he's Air Force, but he was like Air Force Special Forces, talented soldier boy who's good at what he does, but still was not expecting, what was found at Arklay Mansion. That was not in the field manual. But yeah, that's always been my team, so to speak. So I may go back and play the remake of 0. I really wish they'd do... a remake of Outbreak with the items. Because there were hidden items and stuff. I was playing it way back when. I was really far into it as far as gathering items. I had quite a few of the costumes and stuff. And if you played Outbreak, I don't know that I was halfway, but I was plugging along. There were like randomizers as far as finding secret items and whatnot. It was a whole big thing. Look it up. It was crazy. I had made significant progress, and then one of my kids got a hold of my memory disk, the memory card, the little rectangular ones that plugged into the back of and just started deleting files. They were 4. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just pressing buttons, and they deleted my game. So that it didn't discourage me, but I did kind of walk away from it for a minute or for years. But it would be neat if Steam would sanction some kind of remake. Honestly, I think the game was a little bit ahead of its time in a lot of ways. But it was a really good entry to the franchise. And we've got, 8 playable characters that are incredibly cool. That, they did Outbreak, File B. I like the first one better. The second one's still pretty good. Now we are starting to see a little bit of tribute, because the game coming up in February, the main character is apparently the daughter of one of the 8 PC characters from Outbreak. So I'm wondering if that game, if it does really well, if people that haven't played Outbreak start asking questions, and or people that have played Outbreak start pushing, if Capcom will revisit Outbreak, if they're going to use that as like a soft reintroduction to see if there's enough appeal to actually go for it. Because at the end of the day, they're going to go where the money is, because corporation. So if there's enough people saying, hey, do this, they might devote resources to it and do that, right? So, yeah, Burn Barrel's still smoldering-ish. I threw some of that packing paper on top to kind of encourage, you know, a little more kinetic energy over here. So I've got Tanner sitting by the burn barrel. He's refilled his tank with dirt, pooped a little bit. Tiny has come out, and I'm attempting to not put Tiny on camera as promised. Tiny is running with Scrappy because that's, I think, a favorite pastime for both of them, frankly. I don't really run anymore. I'm going to check in with my kid and pause this real quick. Tiny's a good kid. As a dad, I'm able to look back on some things here and there and go, I did okay. You know what I mean? That one's gonna make it, you know? Don't get me wrong, Alex is gonna make it too. But with the autism, one of the challenges my wife and I have is to try to make sure that exactly things are safeguards are in place to keep him alive and functioning, because employment's difficult. It's high functioning, but it's still complicated. So, trying to make sure that his needs are met and that kind of the financial part of his world can run on autopilot. If that makes sense. Because there's a lot of adulting things that are a lot more complicated. You know, Tiny has their own complications, but the autism, while opening up certain doors, because it's a different kind of brain, and it does make some parts of the real world very challenging. So we've got to set things up to where his life can pretty much run on autopilot. Not as much worrying about where the electric bill is going to get paid from, but making sure the electric bill is paid without him having to worry about it. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but the whole thing's pretty complicated. Can be done once we figure out where we're landing, as it were. Because I don't know that we're staying at Leonardo, but we're going to be at Leonardo for a while, because there's a lot to cut through here. My parents made sure of that. We're getting there. One brick. But yeah, we're gonna be here a while. No way around that. I mean, there are ways around that, but they are foolish, knee-jerk, reactionary shortcuts. That's just the truth. Bringing a team with a truck to back it up and just start throwing stuff in the back of the truck, that is a way we could do it. Maybe in a couple of years we'll visit that with that which remains, but right now that would be stupid. And I'd get in trouble with the court for sure. You did what? My lawyer would freak out. And they'd be right to do so, because it'd be very irresponsible of me. While I was asleep, quite a few packages arrived. I'm not even sure what some of these are. I mean, they're probably all things I ordered, but still. And I've got burning curiosity. Nice. Trying to figure out the box. Very confusing. It's cute. Thank you so much. What are you? Oh, okay. And again, having the Blues Clues thing. It's from one of our friends. It's a pack of Mars figures. This is one that's been on my watch list for maybe a year and a half. It's just been sitting there getting relisted, and I keep it in there, and it's that whole, I'll get it eventually, maybe. Yeah, if it sells, it sells. They had the price down at like $17, which is a very fair price. But it's just, it was just, maybe I'll get it eventually. And I kept letting it, reload. And now that I'm looking at it, I should have picked this up a while ago. So I paid, I think, $25 total, because it's shipping, Oh, and I bought, last night I found several Doctor Who lots, which I'm eating it on shipping because of the tariffs. But there are a couple that I'm excited about them getting here, because, man, there's some good stuff in those. Both from a resale standpoint and from I really want it standpoint. A couple I paid like $100 for or whatnot, but worth it. And I did do some research. They apparently did do a Zygon figure. This is the Doctor Who 5.5. They did do a Zygon. There's like a 3-pack, which is Doctor Who, like the monsters. And I think there was like a Zygon, an Ice Warrior, which I knew they had done an Ice Warrior and something else, like a Cyberman. But they did do a Zygon in that pack. And it's the older... I don't even know if they changed it with the newer stuff. But it's the older... I don't think they did. They just made it look nicer. The, like, slug with the, like, suckers and whatnot looking on it. It's like John Pertwee, Tom Baker era Zygon looking figure. Which, yeah, no, they kept that look pretty much. They just cleaned it up. So they did do a Zygon and an Ice Warrior. Still not seeing any old Silurian design, which, again, that's fine. And another one that I haven't seen any of is the old Sea Devils from, like, Pertwee. And I know they've got the War Between the Land and the Sea or whatever coming up pretty soon, where I guess they redressed the Sea Devils. I think it's the Sea Devils. Which I got mixed feelings on that, because to me, they, from what I've seen in the previews, they almost look more like aquatic Silurians. They really revamped the look of them, so I'm holding judgment on that. But so yeah, I paid I think it was like $17.11 was the price on the listing. I'm wondering if it was like some kind of numerological thing from the seller. But there's one complete, because this was a little bit of a part lot to a degree, but it had some like complete figures too. Yeah. Oh, that's like shiny new, like not played with, like display only kind of thing. One of the gray silver ones, he's complete. I think you're complete too. You're missing a leg. I spoke too soon. So we've got, well, this obviously happened in the heat of battle. The Limping Wonder over here. And he's got two Pew Pews. Those are some of the ones that come with these kind of things. I know I showed you at least one of the box sets, whatnot. But the Pew Pews, they're kind of flat-ish. But they do have, it is 3D. It's not like printed, a flat object with lines drawn on it. It does have texturing. But they're made intentionally very thin because these guys have very thin rectangular I hold things design with their hands. And I want to say the 3 figure box sets typically come with like 3 to 5 of these kind of things. That's cool. Got some, and then there's just a bunch. So I got 2 full ones, 1 not so much. And then so I got torso and arms on these guys. Got part of a leg there. But then there's other legs and feet. I got, looks like I could complete the white leg, but he's missing a white thigh. I'm missing the 2 blue thighs, basically. I've got a random foot in here. And then I have a lower leg and foot for a green, which those are the ones with the like rail gun kind of things going on. But because I do this just like I have a bag full of like clone trooper and or stormtrooper parts, I've already got a whole bunch of Frankenstein bits for these guys. So that's not like, oh no, that's just a normal day. I'm actually going to take the Pew Pews off the red. I'm going to put the red back in here. That gives me all those as partials. So I got like a job lot kind of bag here. which again, that's not a problem. I've got in my little Mars box over there, I've got a little, I think a sandwich-sized bag that has, 3 or 10 parts in it. Because a couple of lots that I've gotten have had, 2 complete figures and, 3 legs. Okay, I don't know. Park them and I'll worry about that later. And I can Frankenstein some mechs together. Your arms don't work as well, do they? That's wind up breaking a pew-pew. Those hands are tight. What about you? You look a little bit more forgiving. Maybe not. Just kidding. Nope. Just kidding. How about that? Nope. That's fine. Okay. Don't force it, Marcus. That's how things get broken. So yeah, I got 2 full figures here, 2 pew-pews, and enough to make another, I don't know, hold on a sec. Alright, that was Tiny coming back in. So yeah, I got 2 working figures, 2 pew-pews, which, because I picked up a lot of, smaller lots that have, 3 figures, 2 figures. The pew-pews are actually really hard to get, unless you're getting the box sets. People either keep them or have lost them. Whole bunch of Frankenstein parts, which is great, actually. That's pretty cool. Yeah. You guys didn't get a cookie, did you? You guys got skipped on cookies. Alright, let me fix that. Didn't mean to interrupt. I know you're trying to wash the dirt down, Tanner. So, we're going to do this. We're going to do some jerky. I have your attention. To admit, that smells like almost real beef jerky. For you, okay. I get to keep my fingers. Appreciate that. And one for you, little guy. Ooh, that was almost my fingers too. Of the things you could learn from Scrappy, don't learn that. There's my left hand. I'm right-handed, but still, I'd like to keep them. Alright, so got some Mars figures. Yeah, my girl, like I said, stayed home today, which is cool. She's working on trying to get George back under control, because the more time she spends here, the less that gets cleaned and or even ready for evac, because what we plan on doing, and the lawyer knows, the lawyer's like, the head lawyer, I talked to him 2 months ago, and he asked, he's like, because of the situation and whatnot, do you and your family plan, remember I'm your lawyer, do you and your family plan on moving into Leonardo? And I said, probably. And he's like, okay. And he I think, I want to say he followed it up with, that's pretty normal. And I said, trying to run 2 households, and he's like, yay, no, yeah. Yeah, I mean, your mom clearly doesn't live there anymore, and your dad is not coming home. So, you're now one family trying to manage 2 houses. So that's pretty normal. Like, okay. Make sure I'm not doing anything wrong, because again, this is my first time doing this. But realistically, this place has more potential to store what we need to be able to store between the 2 households, trying to, mush them together. The house itself, despite my dad's efforts, is actually in better shape than George. And the finances are trying to run both while also trying to fix the woes here, because we've got a bucket of poo queue. Trying to commute to do that. Again, I keep going back to those horror stories that I read online. People that, my aunt died, she was a hoarder, and I was, the favorite niece, and it took me 5 years to get rid of everything, to liquidate everything, to clean everything up and be done with it. And I've read stories about 8 years, and, I don't want to do that. I do not want, I'm 54, I don't want to spend 8 years trying to button this up. I don't. That's so not fair. So not fair. I hope I don't sound like a whiny kid saying that, but it's just like, man, I know I'm going to spend 2 years cleaning up after someone else's life, someone else's lives. It's not cool. It's not cool. So if you are a hoarder, or you know someone who is, and you're gonna get stuck, man, do what you can to resolve things now. Because when you force someone else to fix your mistakes for over a year or two, and I know some people, and I'm a comedian too, so I can see the humor of it, that's parenting. 15 seconds of joy, 18 years of misery. You hear those kind of jokes. This is my parents. I'm having to go back and pick up for my parents for probably 2 years. Guys, you were grown-ups. This is not necessary. Wiping the butt of my 1-year-old, yeah, sure. That's part of the job. Cleaning up the house of my parents because they didn't, and filled it with junk. This was avoidable. The poop on the butt of the 1-year-old, not avoidable. Not avoidable. Yeah, not avoidable. Because apparently when you feed them, they poop. It's like the Betsy Wetsy doll. They kind of try and prepare you for that. You put fluid in, fluid comes out. It's parental training in a doll. But, yeah. So, some of the ways that I amuse myself during all of this. But yeah, I got 2 working figures out of it. And 20 parts. Cool. And again, I try and keep it at like $5 to $7 per figure. I mean, cheaper if I can get it, that's great. But with all the parts too, I think I paid $25 total, again, 17 plus like 8 shipping. Okay. Because I've got the makings for, I could Frankenstein easily another 2 figures with what's here. They just wouldn't match, and would still have a few parts left over. So, yeah. I can go all manner of Dr. Victor on that. Alright. I'm going to close this one out. I'm probably going to get some more work done. I feel good. That nap did me good. I had a couple ham and Swiss and was just like, hi, sleepy. So, get some more done. I'll probably do another video here in a bit, because, oh my god. And some of this is stuff you don't, like, I know I got a box over there that has like 4 cans of Wasp Killer, because I ordered off of Amazon, because they're everywhere. You don't care about that. Probably not. But I got some other stuff that you might be like, ooh, that's pretty cool. I want to see that. So, Wasp and Hornet Killer. Yeah. Anyway, make it a great day.